Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I'm going to really try to keep this video short. I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, healing, and the wisdom of the universe. Now, this topic is, everybody's talking about the end times. They have been talking about the end times for a long time. And, walking around in the yard today, it's springtime, the azaleas are blooming, different trees are doing this and that. And it's like, end times. And I have lived in the end times myself. And I realized, over the years that the more we consider living in the end times, it will be the end of times for us. And so, all of this, though, whether tomorrow a comet hits the planet, or I'm for whatever reason I'm not here, or you're not here, God bless you. Hey Teresa. Um, but I just wanted to say that there are lots of things to give people hope. And am I trying to peddle hopium? Probably, I guess. Might as well admit, I'm saying yes, there is hope in this world. Hey, Elderberry. So, Ed, how are you? So, just wanted to get on here this Saturday afternoon. It's 90 degrees, for God's sakes, outside in the shade. Me and Doug have been walking around, but, we went from, 55 and 60 being the high to now it's 90. So, my body has not made the transition well. Anyway. But in this short video, I promise you, I was going to try to keep it and end it at 3 o'clock just because. Robert V, hello, good to see you. But that in this end times of things and all the prophecy, understand this: people are using the Bibles, which many of us have understood. We have to take certain things with a grain of salt because somebody wrote it. A bunch of folks wrote it. It's been changed. This is not about that. But if we want to believe that every day is our last day, then what would you do on your last day if you knew it was your last day? Would you go out and have a big chocolate ice cream cone? Would you go out and play a round of golf? Would you go find some place and go swimming? Would you, go find an airport and ask somebody to take you up and go skydiving? I mean, what would you do on your last day? So, with all this pretense, and there seems to be something wonky in the universe right now. I just got to say, something just feels wonky. But hey, Candy Apple, Robert V, Elderberry, Ed, Doug, how are you? In the daytime, yeah, I'm going to try to keep this a short one. It's 90 degrees outside, and it's not even the end of March yet. And it's like, oh boy, I hate. Me and Summers don't get along like we used to. The heat bothers me a whole lot more in my older age, and I get heat stroke real quick, so I have to be careful. Julianne, how are you? Election being activated. Yeah, There's some stuff jumping up and down. I'm watching Barnett Jackson. Esty, how are you? Just wanted to get on and say hi. But in this wondrous world that we live in, despite everything that people want to throw at us, and it's the end of times. It's every day is the end of something and the beginning of a new day. I'm outside walking through the field and through the woods up here on the hill, and I'm looking at, some places are get more sunlight than others. And there is, tiny little plants that are like this tall, and then there's other grasses a little taller. Than there is this progression in nature where things shield and they live in harmony next to each other. And so, there is this in the universe. So it reminds me that an ant might die today, or a butterfly, or a bird, or a fish, or something, due to whatever natural causes or unnatural. But there is going to be death and there is going to be life. there is always something being reborn. Looking up my driveway, there are places where there are little pine trees coming up. They're about this tall, and they can't stay in the middle of my driveway. So, going to have to do something. I was thinking about where could I transplant them and that kind of thing. So, but I also realized that, we went from flood to almost a drought, because right now you go out there and try to dig in the ground, it's hard as a brick, because it's been so warm and all the moisture has been being taken out of the ground. There's still wet spots in my backyard, but we're not at any kind of flood stage or anything like that. It's gooky in the swamp, but it's not dry. But anyway, having to do with the end of times, you look around and there is so much stuff to look at and consider. But at the same time, does any of it directly affect me or you? I mean, I'm sad for the train wreck that happened. I'm sorry for the people who got shot. I'm sorry, and I will send my prayers out to the universe for those souls that were taken, possibly, prematurely. So whatever the reason, there are crazy people all over the place, so we can't live our life in fear that tomorrow is the end of times, or that we're living in the end of times. Now, I've talked about this many times over the years. I've even read from Revelations. So, and I do believe that it is the end of times, because the veil has been lifted, which is, to me, regardless of what people want to interpret that is there, the insanity in the Vatican, the government, the this, the that. I mean, come on. So but an end of one time, the end of winter is the beginning of spring. And spring is here. Looking at I forgot how big that my azalea bushes have gotten, and I'm like, and how many I'd put in, and I'm like, wow, there's another azalea bush. They're all blooming. But so in this, the death of winter, the end of times, we're coming into spring. But if it were, in September, I would be saying, well, it's the end of summer and the beginning of fall and into winter. It's when the earth goes into sleep time, when things need to sit and rejuvenate, So, but, is every day an end of time? It could be. I mean, but to sit and mull over it, there's so many people the preaching has gotten a little higher up the ladder, if you know what I mean. Extra volcanoes, and gotta say, there is a lot of stuff going on, not dismissing it. But is it the end of days? Well, we had 3 or 4 of these 7-point somethings. It's bad. And maybe I'm not sure about injuries or deaths, but to the point there probably property damage and things. So, but, is that, a reason for the rest of the planet to be in a tizzy about it? It's the end of times. No, every day is a different day. Every day there are cycles. Every day, the sun comes up, usually in the east. And at certain times of the day, there are certain areas of the forest that are more shaded than not. Towards the end of the day, as I was up there on the hill, I noticed that where the trees, I've just let the trees grow up there on the hill. I should have cut a couple of them many years ago, but it is what it is. But so I'm supposed to be the guardian of this place, so I don't cut anything down that doesn't really need it. And but the idea, though, that Mother Nature has taken care of itself. There are little plants way down on the ground. Now there are too many pine needles in areas, so there's nothing underneath the canopy of the trees. What's that got to do with? Because if I went up there and raked some of those up, or burnt part of that up there that's really heavily laden with pine needles, then other things would grow. There's stuff up there, I don't know how it got planted. So is it the end of times? Yes. There are certain things that are dying. I noticed there's a couple of trees up on the hill on my walk to the driveway and back, and I was like, that one's got something in it, and it's not going to last. It's dying. crepe myrtle trees that have gotten too big for their britches and are not going to bloom this year. They're not putting out any foliage. So they have died, but there are things underneath them that are coming up, little pine trees, little cherry trees, some wild blueberry bushes. And it's like, but yes, there are the end of times, but there's also the beginning of something else. So regardless of what it is, we have to live in the now. The river is calling me, especially as hot as it is today. If I thought my truck would make it, me and Doug would go to the river. I mean, to the big river and put in a boat or something, paddle around some. So, but this idea, though, that, it's the end of times and, we're all going to die. Of course we are. But if we live in the now and can maintain our true spirit and keep our soul together without being fragmented by what's going on in the outside world, yes, there's crazy stuff. A ship blocking the Suez. Okay. But I got to say this, anybody that's stupid enough to put that many cargo containers on top of the damn thing, and then a good high wind, any sailor knows it'll turn you broadside in a heartbeat. Just saying. And that they would allow that, I guess is my point. They might not do this anymore. So, and the fact that we have to rely on those ships, oh my God, the billions of dollars of trade. Now, I'm not going to go into it, but it's the end of times because they can't move it. Well, turn around and go somewhere else. Or, well, we might not get something from China tomorrow or the next day. It might be a week or so. Are we that dependent on China to send us stuff? Or, not just China, but to the point that if those ships don't get through, now I know it's a lot of money and a holdup and all that. That's not my point. But if we have to live where we're living for that next shipment to come in from China, I just got to shake my head and go, come on now. We as a people can do better than that. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, hey, Chloe, miss you too, Chloe. Yeah. Too much emphasis on the end of days talk. Yeah. And here's the thing. If it is the end of days tomorrow, do you want to spend your last day worrying about if it is? I mean, the older I get and the more creakier I get, I'm like, I want to go outside and do stuff. And I'm a lot slower than I used to be. And, so my level of production, if you will, from 15 years ago to now, has dropped way down. So these projects are taking me much longer than I would like to, but I ain't got nothing but time left anyway. So, but, if I live, I look out the yard and I go, well, we might all be dead tomorrow. Oh, what the hell? I'm still going to go out and cut a trail. Me and Doug are still going to go for a walk. I'm still going to work on finishing my porch out there, along with all these other halfway done projects that I have around. But the thing is, I keep working on it. I don't give up. I have hope and faith in myself that if I don't get up tomorrow, I'll get up the next day. If the creator says we got to take you down for a day for a reboot or something, all right. So, but anyway, tonight's full moon. Hey, Jody, you got my email, I see. I hope that kind of made sense. I got it. So, but anyway, and I'm going to blame this one on Jody, but he sent me an email and about a subject, and it basically is about sin. And, what other people's opinion is about sin. And it's like, there are some folks who are saying, well, when the new Jesus comes, for example, anybody that's ever drank alcohol is not going to go to heaven, or anybody that's done this or that, or person, and homosexuality. Now, I think if two people love each other, and there's nothing wrong with that. And regardless, now, there's a lot of this interspecies, inter alien, ET, interspecies kind of thing that's in our movies and TV shows and things like that. WandaVision, just stuff. So, not to say that it's bad, but in that it's showing us things that, could quite possibly be real in some sense or another. So is this a warning? Yeah, but does it mean we're all going to, oh my God, an alien's going to eat my brain tomorrow? No, but I would look out, for any signs of the day of the Triffids. If plants start moving around on their own, we should beware. Any pod people out there, But in this idea, though, that we should just keep an eye on stuff and be the compassionate observer, and we need to be compassionate to ourselves. So people are talking about what is a sin. If it follows the number one rule, okay, do no harm to anything. That includes yourself. So having a couple of drinks, and getting a little tipsy. Now, for me, I was an alcoholic for years. That was a sin to myself because of all the money and time and the damage it was doing to my body. That was a sin to myself, not to anybody else. So, but in this, that Creator looks at all of us equally, and the love is there for each of us equally. Now, I'm not a Freddy Krueger, I don't even know if I've ever watched a Freddy Krueger movie. Cougar, anyway. But the idea, though, that society has molded and cajoled us and put us in different frames of mind. And with all the, the vax and the this, and the drill, the everyday stuff in the news, regardless of whether you watch the MS folks or the YouTube and back pages kind of thing, folks are still talking about those same types of things. So, and I don't on the back channels, I'll say, I don't mean like 4chan, and then there's that too, but, it's the idea though, that everything is so bad. Yeah, we keep an eye on it. Things are looking a little weird. Yeah, they are. But how's your personal space? Is your personal space being invaded? Are you doing anything that might give someone else the impression? There are people, I can do what I damn well please. Well, not if you got neighbors that are watching you, because they might interpret it differently. Remember, it's all a matter of perspective. So to someone else, the illusion of what you might be doing might seem harmful to them. Okay? So it's this matter of illusion and the fake matrix and all that, I mean, the fake matrix put out by, mankind, not human nature matrix. But again, of all the things that we've done and studied and so forth, and in looking at all the chaos that's out there, and it's up to here, right? So it makes the end times prophecies, wherever you want to find them, and people are having dreams now about what tomorrow's going to be. And somebody had a dream the other day, it was something with a train and blah, 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 blah. Well, I've had train dreams, but no accidents. But not to say that they weren't accurate. That's not my point. Because I've had dreams of volcanoes and things and earthquakes. And I've asked them, I don't want those kind of dreams anymore. I can still hear the people screaming and the death I don't want it. I don't want that sight. There are things that are going to happen tomorrow, someplace on this planet. A lot of people, and every single instant that goes by, things change. How many of you knew that I was going to be on this afternoon? I didn't, I didn't know I was going to be here this afternoon. And so, but to keep this short and not long-winded, because there are some things I'd like to get done outside. I want to do a bonfire. I got stuff piled up and it needs burned. But anyway, but I just wanted to re-emphasize to folks, You know, you're not alone in this. Every single one of us is facing our own journey in this. And it isn't about religion. It's not about a book. It's what you believe in your heart to be true. And if somebody says, you know, they told my grandma she was going to hell because she wasn't a Catholic. And I was like, I just, you know, I gave that mess up a long time ago, right? I met a lady at the store the other day and we were having a chit chat. And I said, I don't even know how I got on the subject. I said something about this and end times and blah, 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 or something. I said, you know, or churches and prayer. And I said, yeah, that Catholic church, you know, they, hey, Richard Red, how are you? Elderberry, David Castle, blessings. Doug, I think I said, $500 on makeup, no answer. Absolutely. I'm just saying. And if most women would just allow themselves to be natural, you're already pretty. You're not going to, you know, makeup just, I'm sorry. As someone who did makeup in theater for years and years and years, wore makeup myself for, you know, as characters and other things in plays, you less is best. You know, highlight your features. Uh, 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 a friend of mine that anyway, a perfectly lovely lady, but she couldn't leave the house without 30 minutes of putting stuff on. And by the time it was done, I was like, you know, you could see the makeup and, you know, and I was like, why are you trying to cover up what's already, you're already naturally pretty. To me, she was beautiful, but I, you know, and she, oh, but I just don't look right. Okay. I was going to say something really rude. Anyway, I can't go anywhere unless I shave my underparts either. So that's not true. I'm kidding. But you know, manscaping has always got me as I'm off topic. But to the part of this though, there are things that people are being very frivolous with. And it's like, why are you wasting your time? Why are you literally wasting your money and your time when what is actually true is what is natural to you? But putting on women, I know y'all got to do your thing. I know some guys who put on makeup, okay? Um, so, and I don't mean gay men. I sometimes wonder about some of these guys, but you know, they got to look pretty when they go to work. So I was surprised when I found lipstick in this guy's. You know, I was like, "What's in it?" It makes my lips pop. And are you kidding? Now it's true, but I was like, "Are you kidding?" You know, he was using this off topic, way off topic, right? I'm having a heat stroke. The fans turned the other way. Uh, to be fair, the Skype people did introduce it to keep women more confident, but it seems like the other side took it to the extreme. But a little does go a long way, meaning the makeup. Yes, I never wear makeup. Hey, Delaney, how are you? It depends on elderberry. It depends on the makeup. Yeah, I have worn paint, you know, which is makeup for ceremonies for the purpose of the ceremony. But you know, anyway. All right, folks, I want to go back outside and try to get some stuff done. And I promised I wasn't going to keep this a long video, but because I'm really slinging off topic. But the bottom line is to live right now. And, you know, ego, not ego, but you have to have enough self-confidence to go, you know what, like today, I really want to go to the river. I was hoping somebody would like call and want to go with me or something. That ain't happening. So, and the truck ran really well, knock on wood. My issue may be one. I have a sensor that's bad, and if it doesn't get heated up right, my truck chokes out like I got a bad carburetor. But anyway, it went to town and back the other day. I mean, not a bit of trouble. 20 miles, easy. So, but I'd really like to go to the river, but I don't want to get stuck somewhere, you know, and not be able to get home. But anyway, but I guess it would be, you know, Harder though if I got, if I got stuck out in the middle of the desert versus down on the river. So anyway, but my friends, just keep it between the ditches. And so many people are, you're not going to get there unless. And I always look at things now, these last 2 years at least. Does it break the one law? If two people, don't care what sex they are, if three people want to get together and nobody's getting hurt in the deal, I ain't saying it's right for me, but the idea though that simply because I morally think it's bad, if all three parties agree, then how is there any harm? There isn't any harm. Whether I agree with it or not, that's not my point. So if I know some women who smoke cigars or used to. Several of them are dead, but not from the cigars. But in that, so you say, well, women shouldn't smoke cigars. Why not? Men can do it. Why can't a lady, if she wants to sit down and smoke a cigar? It's tobacco. So, but the idea that, oh, she smokes a cigar. Okay. It's so, well, she smoked a cigar, so now she's not a lady. Now she's not, oh, there's a sin to morality, and every culture has their own. So if we have to drop the issue of, does my behavior fit the social norm? Because I've lived in my life, I do not fit into the social norm, as y'all probably figured. But I've lived on the outskirts, as much as was necessary. It's getting hot in the house now. I mean, it's 90 degrees outside in the shade, on the 27th of March. So, my friends, I want you to have a good day. It's good that y'all got to say hi to one another. To be honest, one thing I want to do before I die is to smoke a Cuban cigar. There are some Mexican cigars that are, to me, just as good, if not better, than some of the Cuban cigars. But some of the tobacco comes from Cuba for the Mexican cigars. Have a Cohiba. That's Teresa, 90. Richard, the Red, yes, have a good day. Yeah. I'm going to try to, sneak in a couple of little projects here. The grass in the last 6 to 8 days is like this tall now in some places, and next to the house is unacceptable because the mosquitoes and bugs and stuff like to live in them, and I like to keep next to the house bug free if I can, naturally, so I don't want to create a habitat. Hey, Robert V, great day to you too. Snow here in North Dakota. Yeah. So everybody have a lovely rest of the day. Be safe, be kind, be generous when you can. And no, I did this because, just wanted to say hi and a quick, later on, we'll see how it goes with the full moon. I'm being called to do a drum. So anyway, I just want to say I love you all, and, stay out of the hype because, it will, it's hard not to be drawn in sometimes. I mean, being raised a Catholic and studying the Bible like I did, and I still use it as reference sometimes. But the idea, though, that so many people are turning to the Bible, well, but they're a new age way of thought. Then if you're a new age way of thought, that that as long as they haven't broken that one golden rule, then it's none of your damn business. Well, if they have smoked weed, they can't get into heaven. Okay, then I guess I ain't going. Well, they drank alcohol. You're not getting into heaven. Then I ain't going then. Well, if you were, abused drugs, well, there's strike three. I ain't going to their heaven, and I don't think I want to. Just saying. So, but they want to put these things on us because they still can't get rid of the basic sin of morality. And it has nothing to do with what the Creator thinks on the other side, because we have become spirits again. Did we hurt anybody in our journey? If we did we try to fix it? And in the future, did we stay away from those mistakes? We're going to make mistakes. We're bound to. None of us are perfect. And this idea that Jesus is coming on a cloud, myself and many others, believe that the Christ consciousness is here more than it has been in a while. But is Christ himself here? Well, he could be in a little baby. It could be in a woman. The Christ consciousness can be in all of us if we allow it. We are sparks of the universe, so we have that Christ in us if we so choose. Now, there are folks that have, their bloodline is tainted. Let's just put it out there. And that they might not know any better. However, every single one of us, regardless of our gene pool, has the opportunity every single moment of every single day to change. If I wanted to be a bad son bitch, I'd go up and, throw water bombs at the neighbors or something, or set somebody's barn on fire. I don't want to do that. I ain't going to do it. But at the same time, I could go up to my neighbor and hey, Travis, so you pulled the coyote card for me. And then my buddy shot a coyote yesterday. Holy crap, Travis. Yeah. Well, it depends. In some places, coyotes have a bounty on them. So, but I understand. And coyotes can be a pain in the neck, especially if you have livestock. So, you know. Yeah, Dora Crystal. Yeah. Hey, Michelle. But anyway, so we have to consider a bunch of other things. And so, like I've said before, if the real Jesus Christ did stand up, who would actually believe him? Honestly, who would in this day and age would anybody believe? Well, he says he's Jesus. Well, a lot of people have made that claim that they're the Messiah. Um, I know I'm not the Messiah. And here's one thing I want to leave you with. We can love each other. We can send out love to another. They don't have to accept it, okay? But we can send out love to anyone and everyone we wish to. But remember this, my dear friends, we cannot save another individual. None of us can, okay? They have to save themselves. We can love them and give them the tools and help them to find their way on the spiritual path. And if they're taking a wrong turn, we can raise our hand and go, Robed Rebel, hi, how are you? International House of Prayer, yeah. The idea, though, that I'm worried about people being saved, not by their higher, by some entity, okay? I want them to find their higher self, without a bunch of prayers and rituals and you got to do this and well you have to perform magic to gain your power, and it's like, oh man, but let's break this down to the bottom line, right? So but the understanding of this is regardless of religion, regardless of color, sex, creed, or what your preferences are, have you broken the number one rule? Has anybody been harmed in what you have done? And I consider this also to nature. There are people that go in and bulldoze stuff and don't give two craps about nature because it doesn't serve them to think that way. So, harming things isn't just about people. Ooh, I'm doing the shifty jibey something's uh Catch you all later too, as well. Yeah, Richard, someone sent me a copy, and I used to have a copy, but this latest version that was sent to me, thank you. That if you haven't read it, try to get it from a friend. I do want to do a video, and I don't have any way to hold it up or show, but I want to read the description of the different races, and explain, if you bye Duggar, bye Teresa, out of here. Yep. But understand this though. It's regardless of whether you believe in Dante or other angels or whatever, the bottom line for you and me is to live in the now the best we can, and to put joy in our heart and keep it there. You know, if we're always worried about the end times and how, we're gonna die, then, I know my years are a lot shorter towards my death than 20 years ago. That's just a matter of fact. But as I push those years, I'll be 69 in a couple of months, and it's like that's almost 70. You know, I've outlived a few of my relatives. My grandfather on the Knoll side died at 67 or something. So I've outlived him. My pops died when he was 72. So I got 3 or 4 more years to get to there. But that's not my point. My point is, I can't live to die. I have to live to live. And if death comes what may, then I'm ready. So for any of us, we must be prepared, our soul and our spirit. If we have malice towards someone else, then we might put that in check, because that kind of energy can foul up a soul. We look at somebody else's situation, and we judge, and none of us, should pass judgment on another. Now, if it's harming somebody or something, we should step in or say something, or in that way have to have judgment. But if somebody there's a black gentleman in a nearby town who worked at a favorite restaurant haunt of mine before this 19 thing. It's actually on Highway 19, but that's another story. The idea though, that with pink and purple hair and bows, and he was like, "May I take your order, sir?" And I was like, that the dress code would have been different a few years back, right? But now they're pushing this thing. Well, I can be the best that I can be. Well, if you have purple hair and it doesn't necessarily fit the criteria for a particular company, is that being biased by the company? They just made rules. Well, rules are made to be broken. Really? Then do I want to look at somebody with purple and pink hair and big earrings and everything, as a server? Well, it makes me think about, do I really want to go back there? And, but I'm making the judgment call, So there are people that are pushing boundaries. I don't know whether they actually like what they do, or that they like that they're being different. Nothing wrong with that. Are they hurting anybody? Sometimes the colors hurt my eyes. But for me to make the judgment call as to whether they're going to heaven or hell, we just got to get out of that kind of stuff. There are people who are trying to push their morality and judgments on you. Be the best that you can be. That's Sam's job, Hawkeye. with that said, and the connection is really jumping around. I didn't say thank you to Bob. Bob, you know who you are. We love you. And I wish to bid you good day. He had clear discs in his lobes. Oh my goodness gracious. See, you know, I thought us hippies back in the day, you know, did some stuff, but you know, you just got to scratch your head and it's like, okay, so they've got more plastic now available and there's other motifs and things. And I just scratch my head and wonder. So anyway, yes, we would be, Elderberry. We would be very lonely without Bob these days. And there's some other folks who are using the acronym, just to toss that out there, Bob. So it's like, for example, it was Bush, Obama, and Biden, Bob. Just thought that was interesting. So, Judgment of a Man Sees All. Yep, there you go. It was a very good book. Okay. Yeah, so it's hard for us to not put a facial judgment on something when we haven't read the book. But anyway, so have a good afternoon, everyone. I'm on here a lot longer than I had desired, but all y'all show up, and it's just good to see you this afternoon. I want to go out and get my fires ready because it dance, and I can hear a drum coming on. So if I do, I'll try to see about turning on the camera and moving the computer outside. If not, you know that when I dance and my prayers will include y'all for great spirit. So, Paul Joe, hey, Hawkeye, hope all is well. Yeah, so far in this neck of the woods, yeah, I really want to go to the river. I really want to go to the rivers. I really want to go to the river. I mean, I might go outside and say, the hell with it. I'm going to the river. All I got to do is hook up the trailer, you know, or throw a kayak on, you know, either way. But because I got, you know, a paddle and everything already in the back of my truck. And if I don't, it's easy to do. You too, Richard. But anyway, was kind of planning on coming on back on later on simply because it's full moon and just hanging out with everybody. Yeah, cheers everybody. Be safe, okay? And so I always end with a prayer. It's 333. Yeah, 334 now, right? Just missed it. So I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And down here, it's so lovely outside. I wish it wasn't quite 90. It's over 90 degrees right now. So I continue to pray that each and every day, every time I put my feet on the ground and walk on Mother Earth, I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And to me, those are not hollow words, by the way. And then that number 3 that's so cool to me is I continue to pray each and every day. Each and every one of you will continue to accept, receive, and to share that knowledge and the wisdom and the healing from the universe. The idea that, you know, what I've been doing unstable. Okay. So the idea does whatever it is that bothers me, somebody else is doing. Number one, should it bother me? Unless, you know, 2 people are doing it. So, you have to ask the sniff test, is anybody getting hurt? Are they hurting themselves? But it's still not for you to judge. So if someone is too sexual, or someone is too drunk, or too coked up, or too stoned all the time, that's on them, not anybody else, unless their behavior affects other people. So, you know, if they're spending all their money on weed and not feeding the kids, that ain't right. So that would be, you know, because what you're doing is harming someone else inadvertently. So, but you have to put it through the sniff test. So at my age, I want to smoke a little extra sometime and, you know, sit on the porch and just look at the sky. That's my business. But when I had responsibilities, no, I couldn't do that. And my booze did not come before my children. Food came first, you know. But when those responsibilities were taken away, you know, then I was, you know, I went overboard. But anyway, so does it pass the sniff test? And that test is very simple. You too, Rogue Rebel. Later, Gator, Jody, Travis, be safe. Esty, love you all. So have a good afternoon and be safe. Okay. And I will get back with you later on this evening, or like, you know, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, you know me. So, but just want to say hi to everybody, and y'all have a good day. Okay. And be safe. And remember, if it is the end times, so what? That should just give us impetus to live our life more full than to sit in a corner and be scared. Take it for what it's worth. I love y'all. Have a great day. Bye. Until next time, keep it between the ditches. TTFN. And cheers, everybody. Bye.